People often think narcissists are powerful, unstoppable forces, storms you simply have to endure. But that isn't true. Most narcissists crumble the moment they meet someone who understands how their psychology actually works. If you've spent your life feeling overpowered, manipulated, or silenced, you're about to discover something important. You were never as powerless as they made you believe. In this talk, I want to guide you into a stronger, clearer, more awake version of yourself, the version narcissists quietly fear. We're going to uncover the patterns they rely on, the pressure points they never expect you to touch, and the psychological shifts that make a narcissist step back and realize you are no longer available for their games. Because the truth is, when you understand yourself, that is what truly terrifies them. When people hear the word boundaries, they often imagine something soft or polite, like gently asking someone to stop hurting them. But a boundary is not a request. It is not a negotiation. A boundary is a line that says, "This is where I end. And if you cross this line, there will be consequences." Not arguments, not drama, just reality unfolding. Many people were never taught how to do this. They were conditioned by family, culture, or environment to believe that being agreeable is a virtue. They were told that staying quiet means kindness, tolerating disrespect means strength, and absorbing other people's chaos means compassion. But that lesson is twisted, because when you refuse to protect yourself, you are teaching the world how to mistreat you. And narcissists recognize that instantly. I want you to imagine a castle. Cold stone walls, tall gates, guarded and purposeful. That castle is you, your values, your identity, your time, your emotional energy, all inside those walls. Now imagine leaving the gates wide open because you don't want to appear rude. Anyone can walk in, strangers, manipulators, emotional invaders, and slowly your castle stops belonging to you. That is what happens when you fail to enforce boundaries with a narcissist. Setting boundaries isn't aggression, it is clarity. And clarity terrifies a narcissist because it forces them to face limits. They thrive in emotional fog, in uncertainty, guilt, confusion, and doubt. But the moment you calmly say no, without over-explaining or pleading for approval, the entire power dynamic breaks. For example, someone constantly insults you under the disguise of humor. One day you say, "I'm not participating in conversations where I'm the target. If it continues, I'll step away." You didn't argue, you didn't justify. You stated reality and the consequence. A narcissist will either test you or retreat. They test because they hope you won't follow through. They retreat when they realize you will. Boundaries only work when they are enforced without emotional chaos. If you cry, plead, or over-explain, you're not setting a boundary, you're performing one. And narcissists feed on emotional performance. They don't listen to words, they listen to weakness. Some people avoid boundaries because they fear anger. Yes, narcissists may get angry. But that anger isn't proof that you're wrong. It's proof the boundary was necessary. Because enforcing boundaries doesn't just protect you, it transforms you. You become someone they cannot manipulate. You stop communicating, "I'll tolerate anything as long as you don't leave," and instead communicate, "Your behavior determines your access to me." Growth will feel uncomfortable at first, but the discomfort of protecting yourself is always better than the pain of abandoning yourself. When you stand firm in truth, strength, and self-respect, a narcissist realizes they no longer have control over you. Their influence ends where your self-worth begins. Many people hand away their power without realizing it because they were conditioned to depend on someone else's approval. Narcissists exploit this. They give small drops of praise, then withdraw it, creating emotional addiction. They don't want love, they want control. Every time you chase their validation, you surrender your identity. Detaching from their approval means understanding something deeply. You are not required to earn validation from someone who benefits from your insecurity. When you stop reacting to their criticism, when you stop chasing clarity, when you remain centered and neutral, their power collapses because the only power they ever had was your reaction. Detachment feels uncomfortable at first, like stepping out of a trance, but it is the moment you reclaim your autonomy. You stop being a character in their script and simply walk off the stage. A narcissist without emotional supply is just a performer without an audience. Calmness becomes your greatest strength. Narcissists thrive on emotional chaos, anger, panic, guilt, fear. They can't regulate themselves, so they try to deregulate others. If they can trigger emotion, they can steer you. That's why calm, grounded responses dismantle their entire strategy. When you stop reacting, they lose control. A narcissist expects emotional explosions. They do not expect composure. Calmness is not weakness. It is psychological authority. You become like a mountain, unmoved by storms. Not because you suppress emotion, but because you master it. Clarity is another psychological weapon. Narcissists operate in confusion, emotional fog. As long as you doubt yourself, they can rewrite reality. But when you calmly name behavior, gaslighting, blame shifting, triangulation, you turn on the light in a dark room. The manipulation doesn't disappear, it becomes visible. And visible manipulation loses power. Clarity protects you. Detachment frees you. Boundaries transform you. And that is the moment a narcissist finally understands. You are no longer someone they can control. You didn't run. You didn't fight. You simply woke up.